Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about what is gap analysis. So let's get started. What is a gap analysis? A gap analysis is the process companies use to compare their current performance with their desired expected performance. This analysis is used to determine whether a company is meeting expectations and using its resources effectively. A gap analysis is the means by which a company can recognize its current state by measuring time, money, and labor and compare it to its target state. By defining and analyzing these gaps, the management team can create an action plan to move the organization forward and fill the performance gaps. Understanding gap analysis when organizations aren't making the best use of their resources, capital, and technology, they may not be able to reach their full potential. This is where gap analysis can help. Gap analysis, which is also referred to as a needs analysis, is important for any type of organizational performance. It allows companies to determine where they are today and they can be in future. Companies can re-examine their goals through a gap analysis to figure out whether they are on the right track to accomplishing them. Gap analysis were widely used in the 1980s, typically in their tandem with duration analysis. A gap analysis is considered harder to use and less widely implemented than duration analysis, but it can still be used to assess exposure to a variety of item structure movements. There are four steps in a gap analysis, ending in a compilation report that identifies areas of improvement and outlines an action plan to achieve increased company performance. The fourth step of gap analysis. The four steps of gap analysis are the construction of organization goals, benchmarking the current state, analyzing the gap data, and compiling a gap report. Step 1. The first step is to accurately outline and define the organization goals or targets which need to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Step 2. In the second step, historical data is used to measure the current performance of the organization as it relates to its outlined goals. Step 3. The third step is to analyze collected data that seeks to understand why the measured performance is below the desired levels. Step 4. The fourth and final step is to compile a report based on the quantitative data collected and the qualitative reason why the data is below the benchmark. The action items that are needed to achieve the organization's goals are identified in the report. Where gap analysis is used, gap analysis can be used by organizations of varying degrees, from large corporations to small business. There is no limit to which areas can benefit from using this strategy. These areas include the following: sales, quality control, financial performance, human resources, employee satisfaction, etc. Gap analysis is asset management. Gap analysis is also a method of asset liability management that can be used to assess interest rate risk IRR or liquidity risk including credit risk. It is a simple IRR measurement method that can gauge the difference between rate sensitive assets and rate sensitive liabilities over a given period of time. This type of analysis works well if assets and liabilities are composed of fixed cash flows. Because of this, a significant shortcoming of gap analysis is that it cannot handle options, as options have uncertain cash flows. How is gap analysis used by companies? Corporate managers can use gap analysis to identify areas of improvement, where to invest or expand, and where to cut back op spending. How do gap analysis and SWOT analysis different? Gap analysis considers a firm actual performance against its targets or goals. SWOT analysis instead look at a firm's strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats in relation to its competitors and market. What is the static versus dynamic gap analysis? These two terms often refer to analyzing the performance and risk associated with banks or financial terms. Static gap analysis look at the firm's sensitivity to change in interest rates. Dynamic gap analysis look at the firm's discrepancy between its assets and liabilities. Now, here are some questions that people generally ask. What is a gap analysis? As noted by Tech Target, a gap analysis is a method of assessing the differences in performance between a business information system or software applications to determine whether business requirements are being met, and if not, what steps should be taken to ensure they are met successfully. What is a gap analysis? Give an example. For example, if a company wants to start a marketing campaign to improve their reputation or apply for a loan, they could perform a market gap analysis to help determine the impact on their local economy and use that data as part of their campaign or loan application. What is gap analysis and why it is important? A gap analysis is the process companies use to compare their current performance with their desired expected performance. This analysis is used to determine whether the company is meeting expectations and using its resources effectively. What are the steps in gap analysis? Identify the current state of the department. Step 2, identify where you want to be with your department. Step 3, identify the gaps in your department. Step 4, devise improvements to close the gaps in your department. Is SWOT analysis a gap analysis? A SWOT analysis is a type of gap analysis. Using a SWOT diagram is a great way to take stock of where this company stands, its position in the competitive landscape, what it's doing well, and what it could be doing better. A SWOT analysis provides one method of assessing gaps in a company of business activity. What are the types of gap analysis? Product or market gap analysis. It is sad fact that 95% of products fail once they hit the market. HR recruitment skills gap analysis, needs gap analysis, performance gap analysis, healthcare gap analysis, IT gap analysis, financial gap analysis, and retail gap analysis. So, this is it for today, guys, for what is gap analysis. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.